So the development of software sure has changed as of 2016. Actually, it's been going on for a couple years now. And this need that we used to have for operating systems and virtual machines to create everything in big, large waterfall type systems just doesn't happen anymore. Today, we're in a world of microservices where everything is literally decoupled from one another, right? Maintaining, healing, restoring applications and code should be the norm for all applications. And we're going to talk about some of those technologies that enable that to occur today. So here we're just drawing out the entry, of course, cache. This would be like into a website where an application might exist, and the gateway that you go through and the security and things of that nature that you do to do that. And then here we're drawing out these dashed lines here. It's kind of the inner workings of the application itself. So of course, we start with some form of an AP manager. I'm going to give you some open source technologies here in just a minute. So it's some form of a RESTful API engine that we connect to once we come into the application itself. And then the code or the application core then can be kept in Docker containers. So here we're just drawing out three common containers, maybe a counter, a user, and a framework. Framework. So these are all just standard Docker containers, not virtual machines. By themselves, they can't run. It's very difficult to communicate in between them. So we need something, an orchestrator or a communication line that enables that API to communicate with those Docker containers, but do it in an organized fashion, a fashion that will provide this kind of reconstitution or maintenance or truly orchestration. And that key component is Kubernetes. So we want to be able to orchestrate all of these Docker containers. We're going to add this technology called Kubernetes. And here so basically orchestration enables multiple Docker containers. Yeah, we won't write that out. So basically, it just enables everything to work together. Okay, so that's what the API does. Now, of course, we're going to have databases. Whoops, we don't want to have the database there. So let's go ahead and erase that. But we want to have databases within the environment. So let's put it over there on the user, for example, and maybe the framework has another type of database. So we want to have some sort of data structure, as well as we want to have some form of a file system, for example, maybe Gluster file system, something within the environment. So here, this is a basic environment, basic database, framework, Docker. We're not using virtual machines anywhere in this infrastructure. There's no operating system that's running at this point. So here are some of those open source names. Kong, for example, for APIs. Docker, we've talked about Kubernetes. We've talked about kind of at that orchestration. Postgres at the database level. We can use that. And of course, Gluster for the file system itself. All of these individual open source projects that can be combined to make up this total application, to actually serve software to users. So this is a huge change. One little issue happened, we address that issue. With Kubernetes, we can decouple the entire application and be able to provide the performance and that stability that users are looking for. This is truly the way of the future. The way applications are being developed today follows very closely to this model that I've described here. No longer do we have this waterfall effect where I make a change to a code or an abstract layer. Maybe somebody changes a library and now all of a sudden my code doesn't work. Those things don't exist anymore. Somebody makes a change to the OS or to the something underlying, or maybe even at the application layer. Wherever that change occurs, because we're running in a decoupled environment, we can scale these individual components, right? These containers to meet demand, as well as isolate issues quickly and with agility or in agile development in truly a microservices where everything is separated and decoupled infrastructure.